Hi, I'm going to show you how to make these leis today that go around the wrists, the legs, and you can put them around your doll's head also. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can do it with ponytail holders if you have those, but my ponytail holders, they didn't fit right. I had to wrap them twice, and it was just not big enough to get around my doll's hand, so I couldn't use these. It just wouldn't work. But if you have a doll that's got a smaller wrist or a bigger wrist, it'll probably work going just one time. Or maybe you can find a ponytail holder that actually works, but you can just use elastic. So what I did was I just used 1/8 of an inch elastic, and what you do is you just find the end of your elastic and you go around your doll's wrist and you overlap it by probably 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch, and then you just cut it. Okay, and then you just take a piece of needle and thread and then just whip stitch it together. I just overlap it. So you go like this. If you cut it over 1/2 of an inch, just go through and just whip stitch it together so it stays together firmly. Okay, and that's what you're going to be using on your doll. And I would just whip stitch both sides until it was done and I had a round circle to go on the doll. Okay, so once you have that done, you're going to start crocheting on your piece of elastic. Okay, this is going to be tied up and done. Okay, let me just cut that off. Okay, so once you have that all sewed up, I would sew it better if I had more time. Well, I would if I was doing it for real. Okay, then I'm going to take 3mm ribbon, 1/8 of an inch ribbon. You can get them on the spool or you can get them on the single spool. It doesn't matter what color you use. It's totally up to you, whatever color you want. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to do a slip knot, and you're going to get your crochet hook. My crochet hook for this one is a 6 or a G, whichever one it is. It's 4 1/4 millimeter, but you can go all the way up to doesn't really matter what size you use, because it's not that important your gauge. So you can go from a 5 all the way up to an 8 will work with this doll. So whatever you feel like. Okay, so you have a slip stitch. Okay, and what you're going to do for the wrist, you're just going to make a single crochet. Hope you can see this. Single crochet, and then you're going to chain 3. 1, 1. I'm used to doing it at this angle. 2, 3, and then you're going to single crochet back into the elastic again. Okay, and you're just going to do that 8 times, so you have 8 loops. 1, 2, 3, single crochet. And you're going to go all the way around till you get to the 8th one. Now, if your wrist is smaller, you may not need 8, or if your wrist is a bigger doll, you may need more than 8. You just have to work and figure out for your doll size how many single crochets, chain 3 you need in there so it fills up. Okay, so here I've done it, and I'm down to my last chain 3, and this time instead of going that, I'm just going to do a slip stitch into my first single crochet, and I'm going to tie it off. Okay, so now I've got my beginning and my ending, and I'm just going to tie it into a square knot and cut it off. Okay, if you feel like you think it's not going to stay together, then you can stitch it or put a little dab of the glue on there so that it'll stay together. It's totally up to you. Depends on how much. If the kid's going to play with it a lot, you might want it stronger, and you might want to just stitch it together. Okay, so then just cut off your remaining lace. your remaining ribbon, and this is what you have. You have 8 single crochets and 3 chain 3s between all of them, and that goes right on your doll's wrist. Okay, so basically that's what it looks like. Okay, so you're at this point. So this is Fun Fur. There's a couple different brands out there. In fact, there's a lot more than a couple. But what I'm using is a light green and a dark green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crochet both of these together to get this look. Okay, so I'm just going to line up my 2 ribbons, do a slip knot, sometimes it's hard to work with this doesn't want to move very well. Okay, alright, so there's my slip knot, and I'm going to attach it anywhere. It doesn't matter where, because when you're dealing with this fur, this eyelash yarn, you can make all kinds of mistakes and you'll never know the difference. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go single crochet, chain 3, and I'm going to go back into every single crochet that I did exactly the same spot, and I'm going to go all the way around. I hope you can see this. I lost my stitch. I'm going to bring this close to me so I can get it done faster, so I have enough time to finish this. Okay, so I did the same exact thing. I did a single crochet in the original ribbon single crochet, and then I chained 3. Okay, so now I'm back to where I started. Okay, alright, so now once I've started, I'm going to just chain 2. I'm going to turn it over. Okay, and this is where I'm at. And now I want to cover up as much of this elastic as I can, so I'm just going to go single crochet, chain 1 all the way around again until I get it covered as much as I want it to be. And the reason I'm just chaining 1 in there also is because it makes it fluffier. Now if you want this thing really, really fluffy and bigger than I did, just keep going around and around until you get it as fluffy as you want. You can chain extra, you can do, it's just, you never even see the stitches because it's just nothing but the Fun Fur, so you don't have to be, you know, really specific with this. And as far as your ending pieces, if you want to, you can just tie them off, or you can weave them in. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to tie mine off for this video. Okay, one more. Finish that off. Okay, so I'm going to tie my beginning to my ending, and this stuff is really hard to get apart once you knot it, so you don't have to worry about it coming out because it's just not going to. Okay, then just cut off. Okay, just take a comb. I'm going to brush. And because you're dealing with this kind of lace, you want to brush it out so you can get that eyelashes pulled out of your stitches, and that's what gives you that really fluffy look. And it also just fluffs it up. Okay. Okay. There we do. There we go. Done. Got another armband. And there it is. Okay, and that's all there is to it. Now if you want to add even more things to your, the headband is done in the same way, only you're going to make it bigger, of course. Just keep going until it's as thick as you want it. This is an option you can use also, these little flowers that you buy in the wedding section. If you want to cut them off, you can, and then you can weave them into the hats if you really want to make a fancy, a real fancy lei headband for the doll. Get it to match an outfit or whatever, because they have these little red ones, they have these white ones, and you can just put them all over the doll and just weave them in and tie them in, and they'll be you know, a little different look for your doll, however you want to do it. There's just so many things you can do. And there's all many different colors. They have the shiny pinks, they have the reds, the whites, the purples, any color, they have them all. And they'll just give you a different look. And if you space them evenly, it looks like a real Hawaiian lei. It's just that I don't have time to do it on this video. But that gives you the idea of what you can do with these lace flowers. And that's basically all there is to these little fun fur leis for your doll. Okay, bye.